various users' interaction features in the game. Various interesting content such as likes, comments and shares, as well as live chat with broadcasters and users. Direct messaging and private chat facilities between app users are also available. RRI Digital, available on Google Store and App Store. RRI Digital.
RRI World Service, Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. And today we'll be talking about the game development and maybe the latest game from Indonesia. We are going to talk with the research and development at Game Developer Malang and also CEO at Klabanam Games. We have Ricky Fabriano. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me here.
Yes. So in the middle of 2025, while people are reviewing about the economy, the politics, and also the global situation, we are so interested in how far have we been in moving forward with the game industry in the country. So how would you like to say about it?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me here again. My name is Ricky Fabriano, and thank you for the chance of representing our community from Malang. As for the game industry development in Indonesia, I cannot really say about, I cannot really represent everybody because the nature of game development is very various. You cannot compare those who have started from a decade ago or maybe even more before that to the ones who just getting started in the game industry. Okay, so regarding the development, I think it's quite positive in a way that people are now starting to see game development as one of the serious industry. I mean, not just like hobby, but it also represents like the real thing, the real economic driver, because nowadays I think the paradigm in the young people moving into the tech industry is going not just limited to developing apps or developing like web services, but also people are starting to talk about games. And also what is encouraging is like I think it's from last year. I think during the last months of last year, there are also the presidential executive order to accelerate the game industry for the whole country in Indonesia. And I think we're just getting started, and it's encouraging to see a lot of young people, a lot of new graduates. They want to be involved and participate in game industry now.
Okay, so there's a shift and people are giving more spotlight for game. It's not only something to play, but it's also a serious thing that needs to be developed in the country. And you also mentioned about that the government is quite serious about it. And yeah, you also said that we have just started, but is there any kind of significant change from last year to this year that you have felt, especially for our game developer community in Malang?
Yeah. As for, probably I will talk about specifically in Malang, the growth is serious. And I mean, not just by numbers, the quality-wise, our developer here locally in Malang, I can say that the enthusiasm is high. And then people are, this young graduate, new fresh graduates, they are creating products not just for hobby anymore. They are starting to think about how to sell the games. They are starting to think about how would we deliver the product, not just for playthings, like for just having fun, but more like how can we sell this to gain investor, gain publishers, and then eventually, ultimately, of course, we want our products to be played by as many as people as possible. And I think, from that point of view, it's really encouraging. Probably I can say that in our like for example in our Discord or WhatsApp community, there are more than 500 people involved. So it's all not just developers, but also enthusiasts like the media, the journalists, and then some of them are like, from the animation industry. Some of them are from the music industry. Because when we talk about games are not just like close and close-knit industry, but it is more like a multidisciplinary team. So you need artists, you need programmers. That's the core part. And then you need animators. Then you need a music producer. And then you need sound engineer. And we can go more complex than that, a lot more complex than that. Like in a higher sophisticated game development, people are hiring artists like actors, and then for voiceover, and then they involved a lot of publisher, content creators. So yeah, the game industry itself does not represent just the game developers, but we have like a big ecosystem that is waiting for us, and that we can tap into, and then that we can tap into and see the potential it's growing as an economic driver.
Okay, so it can absorb a lot of job or create a lot of job for a lot of people, a lot of job opportunities for them. And it feels like we have been talking about economy, about the numbers and development. So let's talk about games itself. So I'd like to know, there are a lot of games in the that is popular in Indonesia and also outside Indonesia. We can say the MMORPG, MOBA, and also AAA games. How far are we from creating those games? We know Indonesia have the MOBA game like Lokapala, something like that. And even talking about the AAA games, people are surprised by Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It was so fantastic, defeating the Final Fantasy series and something like it. And in Indonesia, how far are we from doing that?
Yeah, I hope we're not that far. I wished, but it is not something that we can say that we are getting closer. But we are working to get closer to that. But to be honest to ourselves, it's still a far journey to reach that. But the encouraging things are probably not so long ago. There is one studio from Bandung. They are creating an original IP, and it's a good game, and it's called The Axe of Blood, for example. So we are starting to believe that we can do that. We can do just that. Like we utilize the 3D engine, 3D games, not just like the casual, the usual indie, quote unquote indie aesthetics using pixel arts and then 2D arts. But again, if we talk about the presentation of the game itself, it's beyond that. I mean, Steve, you mentioned earlier about Clair Obscur, right? But then again, one of the most respected, most beloved games from last year was Balatro, and it was like only just 2D games. And if we talk about getting closer to the AAA, and then getting closer to those crazy indies with a lot of capitals invested in it. I mean, we need to look a little bit deeper than just the visual presentation, not just about that, but probably I would say it like this. The game itself is actually fundamentally offers entertainment and fun. So I think the game should aim just that. how could we deliver fun and entertainment for people, not just focusing on how can we nail it, like visually. I mean, visually nailed it and wow people on the first time they saw the trailers, the video, the gameplay video. There are a lot of examples that probably people see first trailers, they are very excited, they get excited, and then they try to play the game and then just not as fun as I think it was. Yeah, in that regards, I think we are not too far from reaching that gap with the industry from the international, the global scene. I mean, because if you see like the Clair Obscurs, those kinds of games, they are really high. They have really high production value, and high production value equals cost, and the capital speaks to if we want to achieve those kinds of level. And but then again, let me iterate that from the fun side of things, the mainstream games probably not always as fun as you think it is. There are lots of games from indie scene that offers like novelty, offers like the unusual fun that you don't really get from the AAA, the mainstream.
Yes. Yeah. There are a lot of choices. Like not all people can. Do you even know Helix?
Helix. I'm sorry, I haven't played that.
The game is so simple, but the visual is quite disturbing for people. But it's not disturbing as in their blood or gore, but it's just because it's art. It's so disturbing. People cannot comprehend it. But what I would like to emphasize in here is that we agree that game should be fun and it brings joy to people. At least it has to reach that one. And now I'd like to go to your company about the Club Anam Games. I heard that you just your latest game, it's Sunset Drive.
Yeah.
I got from my producer, it's about visual novel and puzzle. So the drive doesn't has anything to do with like I was talking about driving something. Maybe I'm wrong, something like that. So can you tell me about it?
Yeah. So the game itself, the Sunset Drive, it's not really a game about driving, but it's the experience of the driving. I mean, so the game takes the perspective of not the driver, but the passenger, actually. And it is a visual novel. It is short, very short, by the way. You can play it just under 1 hour. It is a very short game that we try to emulate the experience when you go on a road trip. So we designed the game to be not stressful, to be like a fleeting game, like you can just get into the game and then watch the characters interact with each other, and then on the between dialogues, you get a couple of choices, and then you pick the choices, and it may lead you to some detours. So you stop, and then when you stop at some places, it turns to a puzzle game. It's a pretty simple, classic jigsaw puzzles that you will want to finish the pictures, and then reveals the memory of that adventure. So it's like you are opening a photo album, and then you uncover, and then you reminiscing what happens in that particular place. So that's about Sunset Drive. And when you play it, and at the end of one playthrough, you get to view the album, and then there are a total of 8 places, and among those 8 places, you can see that, oh, I get this one. I haven't visited this one. That what you want to makes you want to try to drive again, and then uncover all the places. And it's we put a very beautiful illustrated visuals for that, hand painted illustrations. and from our in-house artist, which is he is also a comic artist, by the way, and yeah, so that's the drive. You can just play it under an hour and before bedtime, maybe just to distress and just to end your day on a positive note.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing, I'm googling the how do we call it, Soundtrack Drive Clappernom, and it appears that you also presented people. If listener are curious about a game, you can Google Soundtrack Drive space Clappernom, and they will bring you to the website of Clappernom, and there is the press kit, and you can see all the visuals and also explanation in there, which is quite nice. And then my question is, talking about the visual novel, how strong? I mean, it's like a visual novel, some parts of it, right? How strong is the writing in here? Because if we take a look into, well, a very old game, which now turns into a very big anime franchise. Are you familiar with Fate Stay Night, something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. It seems that writing is also important, even on mobile game like Garden Merge, something like that, because the writing is so strong. How confident are you with the writing in this?
Yeah, talking about writing for the narrative of the game, that is also one of the main focus in Clappernom, because everybody in Clappernom, all the founders and all the members in the studio, we grew up playing games that has good writing, that left. I'm not. How do you say it? That lingers after you play it. Like when you play the game and then you keep talking about it. Then you keep talking about the characters, not the gameplay anymore. The gameplay doesn't matter. Like, for example, Final Fantasies, all those great RPGs, they are kind of like, when you talk about it, you kind of forgot how you play the game, but you kind of remember about the characters and everything. And the visual novel itself, it is one of the main elements that builds a good RPG in the beginning. I mean, like in the old days, RPGs, people are just using the elements from visual novels to really push the stories. And with Sunset Drive, and what we do at Clappernom, we want to step back a little bit, because again, as indies, we are like competing with those crazy mainstream AAA titles. We cannot go like head to head with them, right? So we want to pick one element, and this time it's the visual novel, the narrative part of the game, and we put a lot of effort in the writing. And by the way, the writing, it was written like really. The story of Clappernom, the Sunset Drive, actually, it was like we need an antidote for our own studio. So it was like 5 or 6 years ago, in 2019, as I remember, we were exhausted and burnout from doing the project that is too big for us for that time. And usually game studios go on a game jam. We go on a game jam, or we do our own game jam just to break the routines. And we decided to, let's make something that we can have fun with no stress at all. So the writings, we want to write a very lighthearted, very easy, like you can feel like it's like everyday conversation when you play the game. But at the end of the game, hopefully people will also get the same experience as us, and people that had played the game before. They felt something that it's more than just conversations. It's more than just simple conversations. It's that simple conversations that matter, because we now live in a very noisy world. We are very busy, and then and oftentimes we kind of like neglect or kind of take simple things for granted, and that's what we want to remind people who play the game, that those simple things that you may overlooked or you may neglect, or I don't care about it anymore, something like that, it does matter in your life.
Wow, it's so wow. The backstory behind the game itself is so deep, and yeah, we need that break from life itself, and just like you said, maybe while we are playing this too, we will also have the same healing moment, just like you guys are experiencing after that very big and maybe stressful project, and finally just take a rest and enjoy your time while you can do it. Yes. Okay, it's a very fun conversation. We are talking a lot of things about the development of game in Indonesia and even your own game. Thank you very much, Ricky, for joining us in the Voice of Indonesia. We are waiting for another projects, maybe from not only from the Kalapadam but also all the friends in Malang, and maybe one of you will come to the top later, at least in the Southeast Asia. Thank you very much, Ricky.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Pleasure is mine.
Other listener, that is Ricky Fabriano, Research and Development at Game Developer Malang, and also CEO at Kalapadam Games. And from our conversation, we can say that game is a very serious industry. It absorbs a lot of job opportunities for people, and it is also can be a moment of reflection and fun for a lot of people. But the other thing that we can conclude from this conversation is that Indonesia might be taking baby steps towards the development of game, but worry not, we're playing our strongest part in developing these baby steps. And listeners, you can listen again to this conversation on our YouTube channel, VOI Official.